The populist explosion. Why the rich get richer and the rest get angry. Why are the populist movements rising across the world? From Europe to the Americas and from Asia to Africa, discontent is growing. At the heart of this storm lies a widening gap, wealth disparities, and cultural divides that are reshaping politics. Over the past 4 decades, wealth inequality has soared. Look at these two worlds. They seem further apart than ever. The top 1% now owns over a third of the entire world's wealth. For millions of others, the dream of upward mobility feels like a fairy tale. And this growing chasm is not just an economic statistic, but it is fuel. Fuel for a political firestorm that is reshaping our world. It is called populism. So today, we are breaking down how wealth disparities are driving its explosive rise. Stick around, because this is not just about money, but it is about the future of our democracies. Defining the gap, it is bigger than you think. First, let us get a sense of the scale. This is not just about some people have more. This is a fundamental shift. This disparity is driven by things like tax policies, favoring capital gains over income, globalization that moved manufacturing jobs overseas, and technological change that automated others. The result? A deep sense of economic precarity for the working and middle classes. The feeling that the system is rigged. And that word, rigged, is the key that unlocks the door to populism. In the US, resentment has driven both right-wing and left-wing populism. In Europe, it feeds anti-establishment parties and Euroscepticism. In Latin America, populist leaders often rise on promises to redistribute wealth and confront inequality. What is populism? We versus them playbook. So, what is populism? It is not just a fancy word for popular. It is a specific political style, a playbook, and it has 3 core acts. First, the people versus the corrupt elite. The populist leaders identify a pure, virtuous people often defined by nationality, race, or class. And they stand in opposition to the corrupt elites who are betraying them. These elites can be bankers, politicians, media figures, or so-called globalists. Second, the leaders as the sole voices. The leaders present themselves as the only ones who can speak truth to power and restore the will of the real people. They bypass traditional institutions like legislatures and the media, claiming they are also part of the corrupt establishment. Third, a crisis that demands action. Populism needs a sense of crisis. Economic anxiety, the kind created by massive wealth gaps, is the perfect catalyst. It creates a fearful, angry audience ready for a powerful leader who promises simple, radical solutions to complex problems. Global case studies. In the US, growing inequality has been linked to both the Tea Party movement and Bernie Sanders' progressive campaign. In the UK, Brexit reflected frustration not only with Brussels, but with economic divides between London and deindustrialized regions. In Latin America, leaders in countries such as Venezuela and Mexico have capitalized on anger at entrenched elites. Across Eastern Europe, populist governments gain traction by blending economic discontent with cultural nationalism. The connection. How disparity fuels the fire. So, how does the economic engine of disparity connect to the political vehicle of populism? Let us trace the wiring. Step 1. Economic pain and loss of status. Step 2. Search for an explanation. Step 3. Populist offers a target and a solution. When the factory that sustained your town for 50 years closes, it is not just a lost job. It is a loss of identity, dignity, and hope. People desperately search for why. Populism provides a clear, emotionally satisfying answer. It is their fault. To right-wing populism, the blame is often placed on outsiders, such as immigrants are taking jobs or foreign nations like China are cheating. The solution is walls, tariffs, and nationalist revival. To left-wing populism, the blame is placed squarely on the economic elite, billionaires, corporations, and banks. The solution is taxing the rich, strengthening unions, and expanding social programs. Critically speaking, both sides agree on one thing: the current system is broken and serves the powerful. This is why populism can erupt on both the left and the right. The fuel is the same: economic injustice. It just gets directed at different enemies. The dangers and the dilemma. This is not just academic. This dynamic poses a real threat to democratic stability. Populism simplifies complex problems into catchy slogans, undermining thoughtful debate. It attacks independent institutions, such as courts, media, and election bodies, as part of the corrupt elite, eroding trust. And historically, when economic anxiety meets charismatic leaders who promise to fix everything, it can slide into authoritarianism. The solution to the problem of populism is not in dismissing the anger of its supporters. It is to address the legitimate economic grievances that feed it. But that is the dilemma. The solutions, such as quality education, retraining, fair tax policies, and social safety nets, are complex, long-term, and politically difficult. Much harder than just pointing at a villain. So, where does that leave us? Wealth disparity is not just a number on a spreadsheet. It is a fracture line in our society. Populism is the earthquake that inevitably follows. So, how can societies respond? Economists suggest progressive taxation, stronger social safety nets, and renewed investment in education and skills. Policymakers also stress the need to rebuild trust through transparency, fairer systems, and inclusive growth. But above all, bridging the divides requires listening and creating space for dialogue between urban and rural, young and old, rich and poor. This means that understanding this link is the first step. The next is to be critical consumers of politics. When a leader offers a simple villain to explain a complex world, ask questions. Look for policies that build bridges, both economic and social, instead of just deepening the divides. The goal should not be to defeat the other side, but to build a system where the incredible wealth of our world creates stability and opportunity for everyone, not just anger and division. What do you think? Is populism a necessary corrective or a dangerous threat? What are the real solutions to such deep inequality? Let us have a respectful conversation in the comments below. Thank you.